here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the red Zerg representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Dark. We are loyal to Cyan and Dark? What? No, Cyan... We're not watching, Jeff. Cyan lost. What are you... And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Chinese Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Firefly. Let's go. Getting into our PvZ again. For those who maybe didn't tune in earlier, we did cast Cyan versus Firefly. Firefly did come out on top. I mentioned before that Firefly did accidentally put in the wrong score on challenge. So I was just leaving the admins a message so they can fix that, hopefully, and fix up challenge and fix up the Wikipedia page as well. So we are going to be waddling across the map. Firefly getting into his opener, going for a gate expand. Likewise, Dark going for a hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of Dark. This probe just a little bit too late to really disrupt the opener and really delay the expansion. So we dip on in. I'll always shield for Creator and Classic for that matter. Oh, but what do you do when they both face off against each other? It's Creator versus Classic in round 2. Who do you cheer for, Pat? Who do you cheer for? Personally, I think I'm a slightly bigger fan of, I say slightly, I mean, Creator, he's very wholesome. He's a very wholesome player. Very easy to get behind. I think Classic is a little bit more standoffish. He's a little bit less personable, but he's got the skills to make up for it. Definitely. He's terrifying, man. He's terrifying. So now, just getting into our hatch gas full standard opener here from Dark. Meanwhile, Firefly getting into his own opener as well. Just a standard game so far. And we have our take of choice. It is going to be a Stargate opener from our blue Protoss. It's going to be Stargate, I imagine, into Oracles. I miss Stardust. Feels Stardust, man. Yeah. He currently if I remember correctly, he's a League of Legends coach. He's a League of Legends coach. He coaches League of Legends. Has been doing that for a couple of years. I think I saw him on Twitter recently. Talking about his team and the year that they've had. But behind this, of course, we do see Dark investing quite a little bit more here into these Lings, just making sure he's able to keep up with the Adepts. Firefly has arrived. His goal here is to try to find a way into the mineral line. Will commit to the Shade, but we have plenty of Lings here to keep up with the Adepts, and Firefly will not find a way in. Oh, and he's going to try to escape, but he does get caught out. One Adept does fall. The second will barely Shade, but losing an Adept already is going to be a big blow. It is going to be that much more difficult for Firefly to hold on to his third. As Lings are racing across the map, likewise, so is Firefly. Oh, was even forced to throw down a pylon. Yeah, so a big delay here on the expansion. Pylon going to be going down. We try to catch the other Adept, forcing the activation of the Pulsar Beam. The Oracle has to stay back at home. And Dark is going for a pretty early Roach Warren. Oh my god. Okay, so this is a sub 4-minute Roach Warren out of Dark, and this is never thrown down unless it's a Twilight Council opener. Because it's a Stargate, because of the third base on the way, it looks like Dark is going to be aggressive. It looks like he wants to be in the face of Firefly sooner rather than later. Another Adept is going to be going down, and we're trying to force the activation of the Pulsar Beam. Oh. And eventually we'll have to, because we're getting so much damage done on the third base. Finally, begrudgingly, Firefly does have to activate it and does force back those Lings. But again, Dark, I don't think he intends on droning after he makes these Overlords. Okay, Queens are waddling forward. Spores are finishing, but there are the Roaches. Roaches are on the way, and we're going to waddle across the map. Oh boy. Here we go. The all-in is upon us. And Firefly, because the Oracles were kept at home, he doesn't see. He has no idea what's going on. Is now going to come in and realize, uh-oh, where's your economy? Firefly now realizes what's happening, and back at home he's preparing We have Stalkers, a handful of Stalkers. The Adepts were killed earlier. Shield Battery on the way at the natural, which means Firefly knows that it's going to be a tough hold here at the third. It's here we go. Dark sending everything across the map. Roaches, Ravagers, Lings, and Queens. It's going to be a miracle defense here at the third base. Okay, a world where we can defend. We need the juiciest stasis traps possible. The most, like, beautiful stasis traps you've ever seen, and then maybe we can hold. Maybe. So far, pretty good. Not a bad start. We trucked the Stalker. Stalker going to be going down. Another stage trap going to be going off as well. Oh, that's going to be all three. The first one was good. The other two, less so. This Dark is going to rotate around, getting within range of that third base. Miles taking down the shield battery. Oh, that's an Artosis pylon. Do force the overcharge, but both shield batteries get depowered. Not like this. The shield batteries, they do nothing. The next is going to be going down. And behind this, Dark is throwing down his lair. He is teching. Wild's going to be connecting, and we're just breaking through the wave of Stalkers, the wall of Stalkers. Overcharge was already spent. It was already popped. And Dark will not be slowed down, not by this army. There's only 3 Stalkers remaining, a couple of Oracles that are running out of energy. Good target firing by the Queens. And GG will get called. Dark takes game number 1. GG. What happened to Dark versus Cyan? Cyan got eliminated by Firefly. It was not added correctly on challenge. Was not added correctly to challenge. Firefly did beat Cyan in the first round. Those that are tuning in. But GG. GG, well played. Dark does take a solid game there. Again, he was just so assertive, so aggressive with his Lings, and because he was so aggressive with those Lings, he was able to keep Firefly pinned back at home, and Firefly was not able to see the all-in until it was too late. On top of that, Oceanborn, short rushes and spike rounds. You don't really get to, you don't have a lot of time to react, you don't have a lot of time to respond. So Dark making full use of the map, snowballing out of control. GG. Who is Stardust? Stardust, he was, I believe, a WCS Europe champion. He used to live in, did he live in Switzerland? I want to say he lived in the My Insanity team house for a while, stayed in Europe. He was one of the many Korean players that traveled and lived abroad to compete in the WCS Premier League for Europe or NA or North America respectively. Those players like Stardust, Hyun, MC, that was the kind of the generation of players that were living in Europe for some time and competing in Europe. Man, MC, MC, the good old days. I mean, the good old days. I mean, MC is a more quote-unquote recent player. Stardust retired first. If you remember MC, he went back to Korea. He joined CJ Entus. He played in Pro League. And MC was even, like, relatively recently streaming. I say streaming StarCraft, like, maybe, like, 2019, like 2018, 2019. I think MC was still playing StarCraft before he also became a League of Legends coach. So here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hardlead, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes down in the series, looking to fight back. It is Firefly. I miss Rain. Rain! If you were a fan of the CranKy Ducklings, and if you watched us in 2020 and 2021, back before Yaku was like full-time on his studies, I would cast with Yaku on a weekly basis, ESL Open Cup Asia, and without fail, every single week we would talk about Rain. We would talk about Rain in some way, shape, or form during our cast for ESL Open Cup Asia. This was like 2020, 2021. The reason for this, for those of you that were watching StarCraft back then, every single ESL Open Cup Asia, or I say every single, like 70% was PvP finals. It was just non-stop PvPs in ESL Asia. That's how both Yaku and I got so good at casting PvPs, And I think that's also why, like, Asher, whenever he casts with me, he's like, how do you know so much about PvP? What's going on? Like, why do you know so much about it? It's because, mate, we went through the PvP era of ESL Asia, where it's just non-stop Protoss versus Protoss. That was back with, like, Zaun, Zest, Patience, Trap, Deer. Deer was still active back then. Just, like, Korea used to be just basically the land of the Protoss, essentially. There were, of course, a couple of Terrans and a couple of Zerg players, but more than anything, that's where you would look to for the best Protoss in the world. Just because of the quantity. Then one by one they all retired, and now it's Europe. Now when people think of like non-stop Protoss and non-stop PvPs, it's Europe nowadays. After so many of the Koreans did retire. But yeah, just reminiscing about years gone by. Yeah, Nightmare's another one, yeah. You just overloaded me with names of people who are no longer around. Yeah, I know. So many big names. Like personally, I always have been, always will be a Patience fan. I'm a big Patience fan. I love them so much. Give me back my Patience. More than Zest, more than Trap, more than, you know, all these other guys. Just give me Patience and I'm a happy man. Here we go. We're settling into this. We are settling into this, and so far just gonna be a hatch gas pool opener out of Dark, going for a third base. So pretty standard stuff here, nothing too crazy to really take note of. Actually, I guess I should say the important thing that's happening right now is that this time Firefly didn't harass with adepts. Not anywhere near as much. We can see the adepts, they're very tentative here. They're shading into the third. We're not committing into the natural. Remember, the dominoes started falling as soon as Firefly lost his first adept. As soon as he lost his adepts, he lost map control, and immediately Dark was just so in his face, and things snowballed out of control in favor of Dark. This time Firefly is being a lot more careful with the adepts. Doesn't want to lose them, doesn't want to throw them away. As a result, Dark, going for a very fast lair. This is, what, a 4-minute 10 lair timing. This is very aggressive. If I was to hazard a guess, I would assume this is going to be for Dropper Lords. But there's no Overlord speed. We are taking additional gases as well. 3 gases. This could be a higher form of tech. Regardless, very early lair, very unorthodox. Show us what you got. Dark does have Ling speed. We should have seen a Roach Warren, but there we go. Roach Warren is on the way. This could just be for Roach speed, to be fair. Like, without Overlord speed, Dropper Lords isn't as viable, so I'm imagining maybe we're just rushing into Roach speed instead. Oh, there it is! I shouldn't have doubted myself. I'm like, this looks like Dropper Lords, but there's no Overlord speed. Nah, we got you, Bobby. Overlord speed is on the way. Dark is going to be going for a big all-in with Dropper Lords, with his Queens, with his Overlords, with everything across the map. Let's go. Meanwhile, Firefly still in the dark. He hasn't seen the lair timing. Firefly, he's unaware of the lair timing. He's going to be dipping in now, and he will see the lair. That is a piece of the puzzle. There's the Dropper Lord on the way. Again, a bit of a German taxi this time. So, 2 games in a row, different forms of aggression. Game 1 was just a Queen walk across the map. This is going to be a Queen drop across the map. The Revelation, I believe, does see this. Oh, God. Barely not. Barely didn't see. Back at home, what do we have to defend? We have Blink Stalkers on the way, +1 armor. We have a handful of gateways. And, okay, we know. there we go. We did throw down the Revelation. We have spotted the all-in, but this is a late reaction. That's a massive wall of shield batteries. Firefly reacting hard to this. He's fully aware that he's in a lot of danger. And thankfully, he saw the army coming halfway across the map. But is that enough? That is the question. Is that going to be enough? The wall! No shot. The wall is not a wall. The Lings, they flood into the natural. Queens are here. They can transfuse. But that's a lot of Stalkers. Gateways are being depowered. Lings, they do get into the natural base, into the middle line. The shield batteries will finish. This third base will not be broken. With 4 shield batteries plus an overcharge, there's no shot. But that may not matter because we're getting into the natural. We're getting into the natural. Probes are going down left and right. Ravagers have arrived, and we can bar down these shield batteries. They're bunched up. Yeah, first shield battery goes down, overcharge runs out. We're out of energy, and it looks like Dark, he doesn't just break the natural, he will also break this third base. There just wasn't enough here. I believed, I had faith in the power of the shield battery. But 4 shield batteries was not enough, and Dark will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Firefly, he saw it coming halfway across the map, still not enough time to respond. I do think that a big moment was Firefly losing his natural, because if you remember, the first thing that Dark did wasn't go into the middle line. It was It wasn't going to the middle line, it was focusing down and depowering the gateways. He depowered 2 of those gateways, denying warp-ins, which did hinder the army size as well, and yeah, from there, Dark was then able to cripple the economy of his opponent. Oh, that's not... There we go. Sorry. Just realized that the score out of the game was wrong. But with that, Dark will take the series 2-0, advancing on. My condolences to Firefly, my condolences. Just was unable to recognize how aggressive Dark was being, was unable to get a read on him and keep up with him, and yeah, the all-ins back-to-back did snowball out of control. And now we already have our first semifinals. Let's go. Up next, we have some results. !B! !B in the chat.